Have you ever felt trapped in a storm of emotions? Maybe it's that constant worry about the future. Maybe it's the burst of frustration when things don't go your way. Or worse, that paralyzing fear that keeps you from taking the next step. Those moments feel like standing in the middle of a hurricane. The winds are the negative thoughts screaming all around you. You search for shelter, but there's none in sight. Day after day, joy gets strangled. Mental strength fades. You look in the mirror and whisper, "Why am I so weak?" But here's the truth. You're not alone. I've been there too. And so has almost everyone swept under by waves of overwhelming emotion. The real question is, how do you break free? There's a key, and it's been here for over 2,000 years. It's not a magic pill. It's not a quick self-help hack. It's Stoicism. Sounds ancient, maybe. But Stoicism isn't dusty words in old books. It's a living map, a guide to managing your emotions in the modern world. It won't promise to erase fear, but it will teach you how to keep walking even when your heart is trembling. It won't paint life pink, but it will give you clear eyes to face the storm. Think of it this way. If you're lost in the woods and someone hands you a compass, would you toss it aside just because it looks old? Or would you be grateful because it points you in the right direction? Stoicism is that compass for the soul. It doesn't calm the storm outside, but it keeps you from getting lost inside. And here's the most important part. Stoicism isn't just for philosophers. It's for you, the one facing bills every month, the one under pressure at work, the one who sometimes cries alone feeling not enough. In this journey, we're not chasing abstract ideas. We're learning practical tools, ways to reclaim peace in the middle of chaos. Because peace is not the absence of emotion. Peace is the ability to manage your mind so emotions don't consume you. So, if you've ever felt lost in worry, fear, or disappointment, this is your place. Stay. Don't skip a second. Because sometimes one sentence, one idea can be the turning point of your entire life. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Pause for a moment. Think about it. How much time do we waste trying to control other people, control our jobs, even control the chaos of life itself, while forgetting the only place we truly have power, our own mind? Picture your mind as a garden. Leave it alone and weeds, negative thoughts spread everywhere. They choke out joy. They block the light. But tend that garden. Daily plant seeds of gratitude. Water it with discipline. Trim it with self-awareness, and it blooms into peace, resilience, inner strength. Here's the paradox. The more you try to suppress negative thoughts, the louder they become. Don't think of a purple tiger and instantly there it is. That's how the mind works. The harder you push, the tighter it clings. So don't fight. Learn to observe, to understand, to transform. And emotions, they're not the enemy. They're feedback. Like warning lights on a dashboard. When a light comes on, you don't smash the dashboard. You pay attention, adjust. Fear, anger, anxiety. They're signals. They're telling you something matters. Think of your mind like a high-performance car. It can take you anywhere, but without a driver, it spins out of control. You're the driver. The problem isn't the car, it's how you steer. And science agrees. Neuroscience shows the brain wires itself through repetition. Focus on, "I'm not good enough" every day and your brain will believe it. But feed it, "I'm improving, I'm growing," and that becomes your truth. Like a muscle, your brain strengthens in the direction you train it. So how do you start? Simple. Pause. Breathe. Question. When a wave of emotion hits, instead of reacting, ask, where is this coming from? Is it really as big as I think? Is it worth my peace? That tiny pause creates clarity. And in clarity, you reclaim control. Never forget, you are not a slave to your mind. You are the gardener. You are the driver. You can turn your mind into your worst enemy or your greatest ally. Picture this: the moment you open your eyes in the morning, your mind starts running. It jumps straight to unfinished tasks, unanswered emails, unpaid bills. And within minutes, you're stressed, drained, even exhausted, before the day has even begun. Sound familiar? It used to be me too. Here's the surprising part. The problem isn't your job. It's not the world out there. It's inside. Your mind, when left on autopilot, becomes the source of your anxiety. But here's the good news. That same mind is also where joy begins. Think of it like an emotional keyboard. Press the key of fear and you'll hear a sad tune. But choose the key of gratitude, presence, love, and the entire song changes. Stoicism teaches a simple, powerful truth. Real joy doesn't come from the outside. It comes from disciplined thought on the inside. Try this small shift. In the morning, instead of thinking I have so much left undone, pause. Breathe. Then tell yourself, I am alive. I get another chance today. And watch your energy shift. No magic, just choice. Seneca once said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. And Marcus Aurelius reminded us, very little is needed for a happy life. It's all in the way you think. When you bring those words into the modern world, they become tools, practical, usable right now. When negativity starts to swallow, you do this. Pause. Breathe. Think of one thing you're grateful for. Look at your loved ones and be fully present. You'll realize joy never left. It was only hidden behind the clouds of thought. Shift your focus and the sun comes out again. And remember, happiness isn't a destination. It's a habit. It's daily training, like exercise for the mind. Each time you choose gratitude over stress, you're building a new pathway in your brain. Each time you choose presence over worry, you're planting seeds for lasting peace. So ask yourself this tomorrow morning. Which key will you press on your emotional keyboard? Be honest with yourself. How many times have you worried, not because of what happened, but because of what might happen? A short text. We need to talk. And instantly your mind starts rolling a horror movie. You see blame, rejection, loss. Even though nothing has happened yet. That's the trap of imagination. It can be a brilliant tool for creativity, but without control, it becomes the producer of horror films in your head. Epictetus once said, people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. The problem isn't the text, or the look, or the throwaway comment. The problem is the story you build around it. And Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think back. That big meeting you dreaded. You pictured yourself forgetting your words, being laughed at, falling flat. But when it actually happened, almost none of those fears came true. Which means this: you're suffering twice. Once in your imagination, and once if it really happens. So how do you break the spiral? First, learn to recognize it. When your mind starts spinning worst-case scenarios, say to yourself, This is just a story, not truth, a script, not reality. Next, flip the script. If your mind is strong enough to imagine disaster, it's strong enough to imagine hope. Instead of seeing yourself fail the presentation, see the audience clapping. Instead of fearing the phone call, imagine it bringing good news. This isn't sweet denial. It's mental training. It's choosing to point imagination toward possibility instead of despair. And finally, let go, not of responsibility, but of false stories. Remind yourself, I don't have to believe everything my mind creates. In that moment, you'll feel it. Freedom, lightness, space to breathe. So ask yourself, how many times have you wasted energy on things that never happened? And if you could stop that spiral today, how much joy would you win back for yourself? Have you noticed something powerful? The same event, but the label you give it determines the emotion you feel. Picture this. You wake up to rain outside. If you think, great, my whole day is ruined, your mood drops instantly. But if you shift the definition, rain is a chance to slow down, sip a hot coffee. Let my mind rest suddenly. The rain feels like a gift. Here's the truth. Emotions don't have power on their own. The labels you attach to them, that's where the power comes from. Take anxiety. Most of us call it the enemy, but redefine it. Anxiety is energy. It means I care. It means I'm preparing for something important. And instantly the feeling changes. Fear people call it weakness. But fear usually shows up when you step outside your comfort zone. That's not weakness, that's proof you're growing. Stress. We love to hate it. But what if you called it the pressure that pushes me forward? Then stress becomes fuel. Stoicism reminds us emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. They arrive to deliver signals showing you what really matters. Anger might reveal what you value. Sadness might remind you of love and connection. The real problem isn't emotion, it's the way we mislabel it and the way we try to suppress it. And you already know this, the more you try not to think of something, the louder it gets. Don't think of a red apple for 10 seconds, what happens? The image pops into your mind. Emotions work the same way. The harder you push them away, the stronger they become. So what's the solution? Face them. Redefine them. This isn't anxiety. This is energy. This isn't fear. This is growth. This isn't stress. This is motivation. Every time you choose a new label, you shift emotion from enemy to guide. Stoicism teaches us the difference between unconscious thought and conscious thought. Unconscious thought reacts. It sabotages. Conscious thought chooses. And choice is freedom. So next time a strong emotion rises, pause. Ask yourself, if I gave this a different name, could I turn it into strength? The answer, you'll be surprised, is almost always yes. Have you ever had a moment where emotion exploded, you said something you didn't mean, did something you regretted all, because in that instant you lost control? We often believe it's outside events that hurt us. But the truth is this: it's not the event itself, it's how we interpret it. A careless comment from a coworker, an annoyed look from a stranger, by themselves neutral. But our mind labels them, exaggerates them, and suddenly anger rises, anxiety floods in. It's not reality, it's perception. Stoicism reminds us suffering doesn't come from the world, it comes from how we see the world. Epictetus said it clearly, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. So what can we do? Simple pause, breathe, question, ask yourself, is this really as big as I think? Is it worth losing my peace? What happens if I don't react? That small pause creates space, and in that space, you regain control. Think of your mind like a wild horse. If you don't hold the reins, it bolts toward anger, fear, worry dragging you along. But if you grip the reins, you can guide it. You can turn raw energy into power. Here's the catch. No one masters the horse in a single day. Just like muscle, mental strength grows only through repetition. You don't hit the gym once and expect a strong body for life. Your mind works the same way. Every time you pause instead of react, you're training. Every time you breathe instead of explode, you're building mental muscle. I remember once stuck in traffic, cars jammed, horns blaring, my blood boiled. Normally I'd slam the wheel, curse, let anger ruin my morning. But that day I stopped, took a deep breath, and asked Will, getting angry, "Make this traffic move faster." The answer was obvious, so I turned on some music, relaxed. The road was still jammed, but my mind was free. Do you see peace doesn't come from clearing obstacles? It comes from learning to steer your response to obstacles. So ask yourself today, are you holding the reins of your mind, or is the wild horse dragging you wherever it wants? Have you ever asked yourself, am I really the thoughts in my head? We often identify with every idea that shows up. I'm anxious. I'm angry. I'm a failure. But the truth is, you are not your thoughts. Picture your mind as the open sky. Thoughts are just clouds. Some are light and passing, some are heavy and dark. But in the end, they drift away. The sky remains steady, unshaken. And you are the sky. The problem is we forget this. We let one small cloud block the entire horizon. A thought passes. I'm not good enough, and instantly we believe it. We live inside it. We let it define us. But Stoicism reminds us a thought is not truth. It's just a signal. So how do you break free? The answer is mental distance. Learn to observe thoughts without becoming them. When anxiety shows up, don't say, "I am anxious." Say, "This is anxiety." That tiny shift in language creates space, and in that space, the intensity drops. You begin to see clearly emotions are guests, not masters. Here's another tool: ask better questions. Will this matter a year from now? Is this even within my control? You'll be surprised. 90% of what tortures us today will fade tomorrow, vanish in a year. And for the things beyond your control, letting go is the only way to keep your peace. Bring mindfulness into practice. When a negative thought arises, don't argue with it. Stop. Breathe deep. Slow down. Shift your focus back to the present, to your breath, your body, the space around you. It's like standing on the river bank, watching the water flow by. You don't have to jump in. You just observe. And when you train yourself to step back from your thoughts, something powerful happens. You become the anchor in the storm. The winds still blow. The dark clouds still come. But you are no longer swept away. You stand steady, calm, clear. Remember this: you are not the clouds. You are the sky. You are not the storm. You are the anchor. And when you live from that place, every thought is just a visitor. It comes, it goes. But you remain whole, unshaken, free. We've talked a lot about how the mind works. But philosophy, if it stays only philosophy, won't change your life. What matters is practice. And for practice, you need simple tools. Tools you can use every single day. Tool number 1, pause, breathe, question. When anger, fear, or anxiety hits, stop. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this really worth losing my peace? Is this even in my control? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And with one breath, you take your power back. Tool number 2, gratitude shift. When the mind obsesses over what's missing, suffering grows. But if in that moment you choose one small thing to be grateful for, a warm memory, a loved one by your side, your emotion changes instantly. Tool number 3, labeling. Say it out loud. This is anxiety. This is anger. This is frustration. It sounds simple, but neuroscience proves it works. Naming an emotion lowers its intensity, because once it has a label, you're no longer inside it. Tool number 4, reframing. Anxiety isn't the enemy, it's energy. Fear isn't failure, it's growth. Stress isn't a burden, it's fuel. Change the label, and you change the experience. Tool number 5, positive visualization. If your mind is strong enough to create horror films, it's strong enough to create inspiring ones. See your presentation ending with applause. Picture the conversation filled with laughter. This isn't fantasy, it's mental training. Tool number 6, premeditatio malorum. Yes, imagine the worst-case scenario. It sounds negative, but it's freeing. Ask, if that happened, could I survive? Could I learn? Almost always the answer is yes, and fear begins to fade. Tool number 7, mindfulness. When your mind drifts to the past or the future, bring it back. Breathe, feel your body, look at the sky, watch the clouds. Remind yourself, I am here. I am safe. I am present. Tool number 8, journaling. 5 minutes each night. Write down what made you anxious, how you reacted, and what you learned. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll see growth. You'll become stronger, 1 page at a time. These tools may look small, but together, they are your survival kit for the storm. Not to erase emotions, but to help you steer the ship through the waves. And if you stay consistent one day, you'll realize this peace was never gone. It was always there. You just had to learn how to find it again. Theory is great, but how do you actually live it day to day? Let's walk through some familiar situations where you can practice Stoicism right away. Scenario 1. The short text message. We need to talk. Your heart races. Your mind spins up horror stories. But stop. Remind yourself, this is just a story. Take a deep breath. Wait for the real information before you react. How many times have we suffered over something that never even happened? Scenario 2, stuck in traffic. Or someone throws a careless comment. Anger rises. This is the moment to use pause, breathe, question. Pause, breathe deep. Ask, is this worth losing my peace? The answer is almost always no, so choose silence or respond calmly. You stay grounded while others spin out. Scenario 3. A big presentation or an important meeting. Your hands shake, your heart pounds. Most people call it anxiety, but reframe it. This is energy, because I care. Then use visualization. Picture yourself, strong, steady ending in applause. Prepare the essentials, and remember that nervous energy is proof you're doing something meaningful. Scenario 4. Late afternoon. You feel drained. Your mind whispers, I'm done. I'm exhausted. Try the gratitude shift. Find one small thing to appreciate. Stand up. Look at the sky for a minute. Listen to a calming sound. Remind yourself, peace is always here. I just need to return to it. Scenario 5. The spiral of self-criticism. I'm not good enough, I'll never measure up. Label it. This is the critic's voice, then replace it. I am improving, I'm not perfect, but I'm further than yesterday. Scenario 6. The end of a stressful day. Before bed journal for 5 minutes. Write down the trigger, the emotion, your reaction, and what you could do better. Then ask, will this matter a year from now? Most of the time, the answer will make you smile. We all want the quick fix. One book that changes everything. One quote that erases all fear. But here's the truth. There are no shortcuts. Stoicism teaches this. Mastering your emotions does not mean erasing the negative. You can't delete anger, or anxiety, or fear. They're part of being human. But you can choose your response, and that choice determines the direction of your life. The key: consistency. Just like the gym, you don't build muscle after one workout. Mental strength works the same way. It's built through daily training. The Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. At first it sounds dark, but it's actually a medicine for courage. You imagine the worst case scenario, and then you realize, even then I can survive. I can learn. I can grow. And suddenly fear shrinks. You stop being haunted. You start standing tall. Another practice: journaling. 5 minutes each night. Write down what triggered your anxiety, what sparked your anger, how did you respond, what could you have done differently. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll notice weaknesses. You can improve and progress you've already made. Remember, Stoicism doesn't promise a finish line. There will never be a day when nothing bothers you, but there will be days when nothing controls you. Each practice makes you calmer, steadier, stronger. This progress won't feel flashy. It's not fireworks. It's brick by brick, like building a bridge. Until one day you realize the river you once feared crossing now has a solid path. So stop chasing perfection. Chase progress. Don't wait for a life with no storms. Wait for the day you can smile even in the middle of the storm. Because the goal isn't to stop the waves. The goal is to steer your ship calm, steady, unshaken. And that only happens when you practice every single day. We've walked this journey together. And if you're still here, it means you truly want change. You're not just listening to know, you're listening to live differently. Stoicism gave us 9 core practices. First, understand how the mind works, because only when you know how it runs can you guide it. Second, realize joy lives inside you, not in other people, not in success, not in circumstances. Third, stop the spiral of imagination. Most fears aren't real, they're horror movies you direct in your own head. Fourth, redefine emotions. Anxiety can be energy. Fear can be growth. Stress can be fuel. Fifth, learn to steer your thoughts. Pause. Breathe. Ask, is this worth losing my peace over? Sixth, step back from your mind. You're not the clouds. You're the sky. Seventh, apply it in real life. A text message, traffic, a presentation, fatigue. Every moment is training. Eighth, use the core tools. Gratitude shift, labeling, visualization, premeditatio malorum. And finally, practice daily. Because progress never comes overnight. It comes through small choices repeated every day. All of this leads to one central truth. When you turn these principles into habits, you become stronger, calmer, and unshakable even in the storm. You won't run from emotions, you'll learn to befriend them. You won't panic in the chaos, you'll be the anchor in the middle of it. And here's what I want you to remember. The power to shape your life begins with your next thought. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right here, right now. The moment you choose a new thought, you redraw the path of your life. So if you found value here, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs it, and drop a comment below. Which practice will you start with today? And don't forget to subscribe, so together we can spread this wisdom, grow stronger, steadier, and more at peace. Remember this: your life is not defined by circumstances. It's defined by how you choose to think. And you, and only you, have the power to choose. So use it wisely.